All right, welcome to another episode of Dynasty Kings. I'm Jake Esses, and with me is Mike Valerie. Usually our names are on here, so I don't know why they're not. But you can find me on Twitter at Dynasty_Jake, and yours is FF_Dirty Mike.
That's correct. That's correct.
Nice. So this is our 9th episode. We are cruising along. Mike's been doing some Devy episodes on the side, crushing it. So make sure you guys tune in on Fridays as well. So Tuesdays are going to be our football podcast as far as just NFL, and we'll talk about rookies too, but not to the extent of what he's going to touch on Friday. So he talks about the incoming rookies, your 22 prospects. I assume 23 and 4 are sprinkled in.
I haven't touched them yet. They will be later on.
Don't feel obligated. Just as you choose. But it's all about prospects. So if you guys are bored, want to learn more about college football, tune in on Fridays. Mike will get you squared away there. Mike, what do we have? First off, how are you?
I'm okay, man. We're in like 3 leagues together. One of the leagues we're in together, it's a dynasty league for yards per, and I am the third highest scoring team.
Wait a second. You're in the yards per?
Oh no. Actually, we are not together in that one. My bad. We are
not together in that one. I didn't know we were in that one.
Yeah, okay. There's 2. I'm in a separate one.
For anybody doesn't know,
I'm the third highest scoring team, and I'm in last place.
Third? Oh, dude, that's ridiculous.
I know.
I'm in a league similar, where I think I have it's either second or third most points, and I'm 1 and 3. It's just like, man, yeah. And that actually brings me to a great point. And I don't know if you've seen this before, so I'm going to bring it up. If you guys have never played a format where you play 2 games in one singular week, you're going to play your opponent, and then you also play the league median. So if the league averaged 95 points and you had 96, and your opponent just had a ridiculous week, you still go 1 and 1 because you beat the league average. I love that. I think that's so cool because it prevents so if Mike built this just incredible fantasy team, but everyone keeps putting up incredible games against him, he's not losing every game because of that. So it's really cool. I'll play in one league like that. I love it. I think it's a great format. So if you guys have never played that way, definitely consider it. Everything. So we played each other this week. I was actually shocked, man, because that's my tank team, and it is. Is it not? I'm not trying to hate on you there. Your team's kind of been shockingly not great, but I did expect them to do better as well. So it's not like you just built some terrible team.
Yeah. And just talking a little bit of a little bit of strategy here, just for everyone listening. My thought process for waiver wires, right? Like if I am not sure who to put in my flex, just for example, my thought process is to go look at the over-under, like the betting over-under for the total of the game to see if it's going to be a shootout game, like if it's projected to be a shootout game. And then I'm going to go look at air yards and see which one of my flex options are getting the high-quality targets.
I like that.
That's my deciding factor when I'm stuck on like who to put in my flex. So this week I was stuck between putting in – it's a 2-flex league. I was stuck between Christian Kirk and Hunter Renfrow.
You know what's interesting? I really want to look at you brought up air yards, and I want to look at introducing that into my model to see if there's any correlation there between college success and NFL success. I don't know if you guys know anything about that. I build these models that predict, or not predict, but basically they measure historical data and tell me which statistics and metrics have correlation to fantasy points in the NFL. So if the college player has an elite whatever, jump ball. No, that's not a good measurement, but like catch radius or dominator rating or yards per reception. So I measure all these different things and I figure out what actually means that this player is going to be successful in the NFL. And we've actually found some really cool metrics. We'll touch on that more in the off season. And you can also find some of that stuff on Twitter if you're interested, but don't want to get too into the weeds. But nonetheless, I think air yards would be cool to add.
Yeah, just one comment on air yards. So I think, again, you're the numbers guy. But I use air yards as like a short-term metric, like if it's the rookies that might get the top quality targets, but they're not like producing, like maybe Terrence Marshall or somebody. Anyway, I know they're going to come down with it eventually and they're going to break out. And then there's just short-term stuff like flex plays. But I don't know about long-term, so you let me know.
Sure. Not right
Okay,
now,
so
though.
yeah, let me go over what we got for today's show. We have drop candidates. We're going to talk about waiver wire ads, some buy lows, sell highs,
That's my
and
favorite.
then we're going to talk about some individual players out there, and then we'll cap it off with giving you my Friday episode preview. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into drop candidates. All right.
Koenig found the YouTube. Fantastic, Koenig. Welcome, buddy. We are excited to have you.
Okay, so we'll start off with some drop candidates here. Now, this is mostly geared towards redraft for me, so redraft drops. What are you doing with Brandon Ayuk? You holding on to him or you dropping?
Yeah, dude, that's such a weird situation because I've actually measured, and over the last 3 years, I can't remember the exact number, but rookies going from or not rookies, but players going from year 1 to year 2, they improve. That's to be expected, especially for wide receivers. Oh, it's Tariq. What's up, buddy? Tariq's a great guy, and we talk a decent amount on Twitter. But welcome, Tariq. We are discussing what were we
Drop
candidates. Drop candidates. Thank you, Brandon Ayuk. So yeah, Brandon Ayuk. It's weird. So we look at these patterns between year 1 and year 2. I looked at the last 4 years. So 4 years to the third year to the second year to see if these players were improving from year 1 to year 2. And they were. Every single year, there was the average player improved, right? And it was like 26 points per year, fantasy points per year, which is good. So on average, you would expect Brandon Ayuk to score 26 more points in year 2. However, that's clearly not happening, and that's not the case for several guys, Chase Claypool included, who is a guy that I'm really high on. But so yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, how do you just fade a guy who's going into year 2 and dominated in year 1? He looked so good, and there are other factors. Brandon Ayuk, Debo, and Kittle were never on the field at the same time. Is that correct? Wasn't that the stat, or like maybe one game together?
That's correct. And Jimmy G didn't play last year with
right.
at all.
So all those things affect his target share, but it's just him and Kittle. It's been so interesting. I think I'm more concerned with Kittle than Ayuk. We actually talked about this a few weeks ago. We said we didn't think that all three could sustain that wide receiver 1 or tight end 1 status, just because there's not enough. There's too many mouths to feed. So I'm not dropping Brandon Ayuk yet. I think I might be in the minority there, but it's just a guy I want to hang on to. Plus, I think we're bound to see more of Trey Lance here soon, and I want to see who he's got rapport with.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm dropping because Trey Lance is coming in. A dual threat quarterback. I expect to be less quality targets out there. We'll talk about Trey Lance in a bit, but yeah, because I'm good to move on. For redraft leagues, I'm good to move on. Like, I got short benches. There's better waiver wire ads out there.
Well, I guess that's what it depends on. Who are you adding to drop them, and how deep is your league? We'll
get to waiver wire ads here pretty soon.
Okay, and then I guess we can compare that to Brandon Ayuk. That'd be good.
Right. All right. So what about Allen Robinson? One big game yet. 4 games.
How do you drop these guys that are just proven studs? That's the part that, especially him, he's got not just 1 year. We're talking a whole career. I can't do it. I can't drop him. I'm not going to.
I'm keeping him.
I'm going to hang on to him. And 4 years. So, it's funny because we had this conversation, and I say that 3 weeks is nothing. I'm not willing to draw the line there, but I don't want to create some silly threshold where 4 games all of a sudden is my threshold and that's it. You're done. But 4 games is the point where I'm starting to worry, because we're now damn near 25% of the way through the season. You haven't done anything.
Let's dive into that real quick. Just why is week 4 important to you? To me, it kind of is a threshold, because we've seen the competition against good defenses, we've seen bad defenses, we've seen all the game scripts now, so we have a pretty good idea of that offense this season. So it's definitely a line for me.
Yeah, it's not a hard line for me, but so if it is a line for you, you should be dropping Allen Robinson, because he hasn't done anything for 4 weeks.
I'm trying to trade. I can't. That's too. Yeah. That's too. He's too much of a vet, too much of a stud to drop.
Yeah. So here's the way I'm probably approaching Ayuk and Allen Robinson. With 4 games and plenty of duds. Actually, Ayuk did well 2 weeks ago, didn't he? I think he had 14 points.
He got decent week 3. 4 for 30 and a touchdown.
A decent week 3. So what I'm probably doing is these big name guys that aren't producing, I'm holding and selling after a big game because they're at the point now where I'm nervous about them. I don't feel confident, but I think somebody might be willing to buy once they see that production that they've seen in the past. So it's just weird though, and that's another situation because Justin Fields is going to be playing more, and we don't have a large sample size of what Justin Fields now and Robinson would look like. That's only one game. So
Right. I mean, his targets have gone down from 11 for 6 and 3. I don't know, man. I'm trying to sell Allen Robinson, but I can't throw him away either.
Yep, that's where I'm at. I'm holding these guys.
Name. How do you feel about Juju Smith-Schuster? You keeping him? What? Dropping him?
In redraft, I'm dropping him, dude. He's a guy. He didn't play as well last year. Ben Roethlisberger looks terrible. Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson, in my opinion, are the two that I want in that offense. I don't think I'm keeping Juju. And again, this comes down to who's available. Like if it's Juju or Darnell Mooney, I'm still probably
Juju or Sterling Shepard.
Dude, I hate Sterling Shepard. Give me Juju
for redraft.
Yeah, man. I don't know. That's close because I'm not impressed by Juju at all. But
yeah, I'm with you. And with all three of these guys, it's the quarterback that's the big question mark for me here. All three. So I think Ben's done. So Juju was really not on my rosters, but now
here's a question for you. Do you think Big Ben is a starting quarterback for the rest of this season, barring injury? So no injury. If he keeps playing the way he is he going to? Are they just going to give the ball to him every game, or are they going to give somebody else a shot? Dwayne Haskins, most likely.
I think it depends on their record. Like if they find themselves being like 2-7. Like, yeah, I think they should go and see what they got in Dwayne Haskins because they already saw what they got in Hodges and Mason Rudolph actually is now. They already did that experiment. So yeah, I believe.
Sorry, Tariq asked a question. So right now we're talking redraft. We need to sprinkle in both. So I'm actually glad you asked that, and we need to clarify that as we're discussing. So yeah, let's clarify for each one of these whether that's a dynasty or a redraft assessment. Great question. Okay. Great question, Tariq.
All mine are just redraft questions here for this one. So I mean, my next one's like Robbie Anderson.
Okay.
So redraft, are you keeping Robbie Anderson? So we saw an injured CMC. I believe he saw 11 targets. I know you wish they went to Terrence Marshall, but they went to Robbie Anderson. So are you holding on to Robbie Anderson, hoping for?
Wait, he saw 11. Well, hold on. Robbie Anderson saw 11 targets last game?
Yeah, let me just confirm that.
I don't think that's right.
11 targets.
11 targets. I didn't know that. What did he have? 3 catches?
5 for 46.
5, dude. I'm good. I'm passing on him.
You're dropping him in redraft.
Absolutely. And Dynasty, not dropping him, but he's definitely on my bench.
Right. Maybe shopping him out. And do that sell high. Which
you're not getting. Yeah, exactly. You're holding for a big game, then you're selling high.
All right. The next one here is Bryan Edwards. He gets a lot off. He gets so much hype for no reason, but okay, whatever. He gets a lot of hype.
It's his draft profile, man. He hasn't done anything in the NFL. That draft.
But right now, it looks like obviously Darren Waller's on top. I kind of like Henry Ruggs. We'll talk about him in a bit. And then Hunter Renfrow. And it looks like Bryan Edwards only gets usage if it's overtime.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow, he's kind of been one of those guys who's just quietly productive. He's not as good as Cole Beasley, but he's that type of role player. Like, he's getting it done every game. He's kind of like in there, nitty-gritty player who's going to get the job done, but he's not going to give you fantastic fantasy numbers. Okay. I mentioned that because I see him, Waller, and I see those two as the favorites for targets. I know Bryan Edwards can get some jump balls. What did John Gruden say about him? He looked like Terrell Owens. Okay, man, come on. That was a terrible comparison. That's what he said. He said Bryan Edwards looked like Terrell Owens. Hard no for me. He doesn't look like Terrell Owens. And maybe that's a Derek Carr thing, or maybe that's just not enough opportunities. But I'm comfortable dropping Bryan Edwards. That is a guy that I'm definitely comfortable with.
What about in Dynasty? Holding on to him?
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to it's so hard to answer that question because it depends on depth and who's available on your waiver wire. But I'm not impressed by him. I'd probably hold because there is a year 2 to 3 jump as well. Maybe hope for some. I'm probably going to try and sell after big game. That's what it would be for me.
Okay. All right. Hey, Tariq, we're going to get to waiver wire ads and 2 more players. Jalen Rager. Jalen Rager, the comeback season, is it there or no?
I do like Jalen Rager. It's not somebody I want to drop. You know how I feel about Hurts. I'm a believer in Hurts. I think he's a good player. I think they're slowly going to figure things out. I think he's going to be involved, and I think he's going to develop as the season goes on. So I don't want to
for redraft.
Yeah, probably in redraft. Dynasty, no.
Okay,
Redraft, probably, yeah. So I guess we should probably like make some assumptions here. We're talking like a bench of 6 players and a roster of like 9.
Yeah, typical.
Okay,
stuff, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm comfortable dropping him there.
My last one is going to be Marquez Callaway. No, they're
100%. He's gone. He is gone.
Yeah. Okay. Michael Thomas comes back week 6. We thought last year he was coming back.
Man, so let's talk about him
right.
for a second because I love talking about Michael Thomas.
Okay.
Elite talent, right? No doubt about it.
Gotcha.
But we saw the stunning pool this offseason. Do you know how that all played out?
It looked like a lot of drama.
There was a lot of drama. He was talking. Yeah, he's definitely a distraction, but there was more to it. He needed that surgery. That it was not a new injury. He needed that surgery this whole time.
Oh yeah, the late surgery.
And waited until the season started.
Until June, I believe.
I'm sorry.
He waited until June.
Right. Something absurd. And so now he has this surgery, and he misses all this time when he could have just had it earlier on and been with the team the whole time. So that's a huge red flag to me because I don't know that he wants to be there. And the talent's elite, and definitely Jameis Winston's going to throw him the ball if he's there, if he wants to play. If not,
if they let him play. Right.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so much to it. So I have a buddy who traded for him, and I said that was pretty bold. And I basically told him why. He was completely unaware of that. So I didn't know that people were unaware. But Michael Thomas has a lot of red flags right now. He's a great talent, but there's a lot of red flags, and you should know that.
Yeah, if you guys are listening, he also fought his teammates in practice too last year.
He's a head case. AB 2.0, probably not quite as extreme as AB, but definitely a lot of issues.
He wasn't always like this. It's just like this last year, something just happened. I don't know.
I don't know.
So, all right, let's move on to our waiver wire ads. All right, so my first one, the big one, I believe, is Damian Williams.
Yep, that's a big one.
It's a rough world out there for running backs. Oh my gosh, David Montgomery, he's out 4 to 5 weeks, so you have a guaranteed workhorse role for a whole month. That's 4 weeks. How much fab you putting in for this player, Jake?
Out of what? We're going 100 fab, and how much do I have left?
Like, give me a percentage.
Okay, so I say I've used 20 of my 100, so I got 80 fab left. I need a running back bad, maybe 50%. If I don't need a running back bad, 25% maybe. That's probably where I feel most comfortable.
What do you think gets it done? There's got to be one team that needs a running back.
And that's the thing. Like, I like to conserve my fab, especially after the first year. Like, we did it in our league. I kind of just learned a lot last year. So I'm not trying to blow my fab on, who was it, Jonnu Smith, and who was the other tight end? It was,
oh, man.
Falcon. Hayden Hurst. There we go. Somebody in our league spent all of it on those two, and neither panned out.
Fab.
Yeah. So I like to be conservative with my fab, but I don't know what it's going to take to get it done. I'm just not willing to pay more than. Again, if I'm a running back desperate team and I have a very good team and I think have a good chance for a championship, 50% probably. If I'm not competing for a championship or if I feel good about my running back depth, no more than like 25%.
Yeah, I'm probably putting in 50%. My expectation is RB2 numbers with RB1 upside for the next 4 weeks. I'm pretty excited about that. You ready to move on to the next name?
Sure. Who do you got?
Let's talk about Hunter Renfrow.
Hunter Renfrow. Oh yeah, we just spoke about him. So
yeah,
I don't know, dude. He's just so inconsistent. Like I do like him as a player, but I don't want him on my fantasy team. Maybe Dynasty.
Super consistent.
So far through 4 weeks, bro. I had him last year. He was not consistent.
Yeah, I know, but like we're looking at 9, 7, 6, 8 targets. Like that's
okay. And how many catches?
6, 5, 5, and 6.
6. That's good. But again, we're talking 4 weeks. I'm just not super into Hunter Renfrow. I think he's a good player, but I'm not super interested in a slot player that doesn't have Rondell Moore type speed or big-bodied slot receiver. Somebody who's going to take it to the house. I just don't see Hunter Renfrow as a great dynasty asset or a redraft. There's definitely other guys.
Yeah. Well, I think in deeper leagues, he's definitely a plug-in for your flex, a very safe flex. Whatever the Raiders are doing right now, I think it's because Josh Jacobs is not very reliable on the ground, but they're throwing a lot more. Up until this past week, Derek Carr was leading the league in passing yards. And Hunter Renfrow is just, he's the second or third option, however you want to look at it, in this high passing offense. So I like him. I'd add him. I mean, I can't really say I put 20%, maybe like 15 in that range, 15 to 20%. Yeah. So there's got left.
A question I got for you. We brought up Damian Williams in redraft. You think Damian Williams is a stud? Do you think he's just a mediocre back?
No, I think he'll be a stud. I think he'll be a stud just through volume and situation.
Well, okay, so focus on skill here. I want you to just think about this. So as far as skill, do you think he's an elite running back or a very good running back, mediocre in a great situation? Like, what do you think?
No, he's not an elite talent. He had that one good run in the playoffs, and then he had one okay year. Exactly. He opted out for COVID. So
I say that because they got rookie Khalil Herbert. Right. Damian Williams looked pretty good last week, but
I don't think talking about Hunter Renfrow now.
Yeah, I thought we were done there. That was my bad.
Okay, that's cool.
Are you good? Did you say everything on him you wanted to?
Do you want to add him? Because I put numbers to it, like 15, 20%.
No.
You want to add him redraft?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I said 0. I'm good on Hunter Renfrow.
Okay, deeper leagues up, like multiple flex spots.
So now you're changing roster settings on me. I don't know, man. Again, it just goes back to who's available and how deep the team is. If there's, give me a player to compare him to. Jalen Reagor, I'll take Jalen Reagor. Bryan Edwards, yeah, I'll take Jalen Reagor.
Marquez Callaway. Let's just talk about some of the drops I get.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow.
Okay, Hunter Renfrow or Juju?
Probably Juju.
Okay, interesting. All right, all right. Let's talk about Khalil Herbert.
So Khalil Herbert, I don't have him as a high-ranked running back. He's like my 11th ranked rookie running back, right? So that's not high, but he could be in a situation where he has an elite opportunity. He's competing with Damian Williams, who I don't think is anything special. Not that I think Khalil has been anything special, but we have a rookie and now an ambiguous backfield. And they just traded for, who was it? I don't know if you saw this. They traded for a punt returner, a kick returner.
Yeah, it was Jakeem Grant from Miami.
Thank you. Yep. Jakeem Grant, who came over. He's going to be doing strictly punt work, kick return. So that tells us Khalil Herbert's going to be doing, because he was doing punt return, kick return. Now Khalil Herbert's going to be playing running back, solely running back. And so I'm just curious to see how he does with his touches. Is that a guy that you're interested in adding at all, or are you just good with Damian Williams?
No, I'm good with Damian Williams. If I wanted to save some fab and throw like less than 5% on a player, I'm talking about like you're throwing that $1 and $2 bid out. Then yeah, I could get behind that. Just waiting to see what happens with Damian Williams. Yeah. Damian Williams did have like a thigh bruise, nothing to worry about. But if you want to have that insurance policy out there just in case. But no, I think it's Damian Williams' show. He's gonna get a lot of volume. I agree with Tariq here in the comments that he's an above average backup that's actually flashed in the past. So I'd start him with confidence, like honestly.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I was just curious your thoughts. I don't think Damian Williams is anything special. I don't think he's bad. I'm not saying that, but I'm just curious to see what happens with Khalil's opportunities and see if he looks any good or what. So,
all right, let's you ready to move on?
Yep.
All right, let's talk about Samaje Perine, the backup to Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is quote week to week, then he changed it to day to day. We had this story last year, so I'm not really too confident he's playing. I believe they played Thursday too, so I think they give Joe Mixon the day off. So it's gonna be a 1 week rental, maybe.
Who did I have that I was trying to trade Miles last year?
Travion
Travion Williams. That's who it was. Yeah. I'm like, I know it wasn't Samaje. Yeah, dude, I do not like Samaje. I don't think he's very good. I think they're going to give Chris Evans some looks too. I don't know. It's not a backfield I'm very impressed with. Yeah, Tariq thinks the same, but I'm also not impressed with Chris Evans. I don't think he was a very good running back. So that's just probably a backfield I'm trying to avoid, and it could be a running back by committee. I don't know. I don't think they prefer that there, but we'll see. What about you? What are your thoughts on that one?
I like him as a 1 week rental. Again, I think it's just a volume play. I don't see myself throwing more than like 10% at it if I really need it. But somebody I would bid for. And Joe Mixon always has injuries. I think the last 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I might even, if I'm Joe Mixon owner, I'm probably spending more than 10%. And it's going to be a player I hold on to now for the rest of the season because, once an injury pops up, you're afraid of the risk of it, coming back up there.
Yeah. All right. So I think this is a good question to address. I like this. Tariq said Chris Evans has an impressive player profile. Mike, do you know what I'm going to say?
No.
Okay. All right. So Tariq, you've seen some of my models. So while a player might have an impressive profile, there's specific metrics we want to focus on. So just because he may be fast, or I don't know exactly what it says, but I can tell you that Chris Evans, as far as being a elite running back amongst his class, so the things you want to look for are yards per carry, their dominator rating in college, their target share, their draft capital. What else am I missing? There's more. There's two more. Weight's one of them, and then there's another one. So there's a lot of things we're not looking at, and so he may look like a solid back in some of these different categories, but there's 6 that we're specifically focusing on. If you are curious what those are, hop on my Twitter. I've got the tweet pinned at the top, so you can just scroll through and see. But again, that's not like just my opinion. That's based on historical data, and it's actually been pretty solid this year. For the most part.
I talked about it during the 2022 running back class too. Like I referenced most of those numbers. And the one you're forgetting, I believe, is burst score. I didn't hear you say that one.
Yep, that's it. Thank you. So burst score was a 6.
Yeah, and at some point in time too, I think you have to throw away the college profile and just look at what they've done as a player. So not that Chris Evans is at that point, but Samaje Perine, like he's now a vet. Like I don't really care what he did in college. It's been too long. Yeah,
that'll be a good question or a conversation for another time, knowing when to throw away a draft profile. But
we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get into Jamison Crowder.
Jamison Crowder, that's
coming off the injury. He looked good. He always has been reliable. I think he's one. If we had to make an all disrespected team, I think he had to be as one of the wide receivers. Derrick Henry, of course, would be the running back, but I think Crowder's gonna be one of the wide receivers on it.
Derrick Henry is he's a household name. Like people know Derrick Henry. Like a lot more people know Derrick Henry than Jamison Crowder. Like Derrick Henry's disrespected in the fantasy community, which is just baffling. But yeah, it's more.
Crowder saw 9 targets on 7 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown.
So let's keep in mind that Elijah Moore was also out.
Yes, he comes back next week.
So Elijah Moore's been playing a lot, but I don't know how many games has Jamison Crowder missed? Do you know off the top of your head?
3 games.
Okay, so he's been out. So I wonder how that affects Elijah Moore, honestly, because Jamison Crowder's been pretty established. That's something to watch out for this week. Yeah, I guess Jameson's probably worth adding. I would think. I love Elijah Moore, so it's hard for me to say that. But Jamison Crowder has a track record of being solid, and I think that Elijah's probably going to take a backseat to Crowder based on, especially that. We've seen 2 games with Elijah Moore. He didn't do a whole lot. He looked good in the preseason, but not much in the regular season. So
yeah, and it was interesting too because they started off against Carolina, New England, Denver, all solid defensive units. Crowder comes back in against Tennessee, a very light
fair
unit. Okay, and they get Atlanta next, and Elijah Moore should be back with Atlanta too. So it's definitely like that whole backfield or pass catching field. It's something to keep an eye on. So
that's wild. I watched the game and somehow Jamison Crowder didn't pop up in my head.
So
probably because I had bets on Corey Davis. Go ahead.
How much do you give him? How much percentage of your fab would you give to him?
15. Yeah, nothing. Maybe even 10. I'm not overpaying for Crowder. We know what he can do.
Would you rather Hunter Renfrow or Crowder?
Crowder.
Okay. All right, whatever.
Love it. I love the comparisons.
All right, let's move on to the let's move on to the next thing. Brandon Bolden. So we talked about James White's injury last week, and who the next man up is. Some people speculate that J.J. Taylor, I believe his name I put out. I believe you put out Ramondre Stevenson. I think I said like Brandon Bolden as like an afterthought. Brandon Bolden is now the vet on this team, and he saw 6 targets this past game. I mean, nobody runs on Tampa Bay, right? Like no one can successfully run on Tampa Bay. But so Brandon Bolden only got 1 attempt for like I think 0 yards. That's okay. But he saw 6 targets for 6 receptions.
Yeah, I don't really care about Bolden, but yeah, you were right. Ramondre does get me excited. What a crap situation because he got first off, he was down on the ball on the play that they said he fumbled, but he got 1 touch on the year. That's it. He fumbled. I said that quote unquote because he didn't actually fumble. He was down. But they pulled him. That was enough, I guess, because he knew he was down and didn't get after the tackle when the ball was recovered by the other team. He just let it happen because he knew he was down. They didn't reverse it, and so maybe that's why he got pulled for not finishing the play regardless of what he thought. But you got to give the guy a chance, right? Like 1 touch, that's not really a chance. And now that another running back's going down on the Patriots, like he's got to get a chance, right? I mean,
they have vets in line. He's a new guy on the block. Brandon Bolden's been on this roster for forever.
But no one's doing anything impressive, so why not give the young guy a chance?
He's proven it. He's coming and filled in just fine in the past.
Filled in just fine. So
yeah,
adequate and decent is what that sounds like. Not good and talented.
Oh, it's not a fumble on 1 touch, I'll tell you that.
Well, his wasn't either.
All right. So, by the way, I would drop Ramondre in Dynasty. I would.
Would you really?
Throw that out there. Yeah, I would.
Man, that really hurts. So, I guess what bothered me was seeing him inactive. But so now that these injuries are occurring, like I definitely want to see if he's inactive again. And if he is, then I don't know. Like, well, here's the thing. So if they disliked him, he wouldn't be on the roster, right? Like he would just be a practice squad guy, right?
Bill doesn't play rookies. 1. Number 2, it's the biggest running back committee out there, that's for sure. So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, preseason made you encouraged. If you're a Ramondre owner from the preseason, you're probably holding on to him, but I don't think you can shop him out or anything like that.
Oh hell no, ain't nobody paying anything for him. Hell, I've actually tried to pay. I think I tried to get him in one league, and dude told me no. I don't know what he was doing, but
okay, all right. So just for Brandon Bolden to wrap that up, I probably wouldn't put in a fat. I definitely scoop him up when everyone passes up on him.
100%.
So because it looks like he's the man up when James White is gone, and James White saw a ton of targets. So I think Brandon Bolden could actually be a really good option here. All right, ready for the next name?
Oh yeah.
I forgot your tight end, but I've down Max Williams, tight end for the Arizona Cardinals. He's currently the tight end 12, and he gets targets consistently.
I think if you're looking for a guy who's inconsistent but can give you that big game, I don't think he's a bad candidate.
Right.
Excuse me. The thing is, you're looking at Rondale Moore, you're looking at AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins. Like those guys are going to be involved, and I'm not confidently starting him. If I need a bye week replacement, yeah, he gets that. He satisfies that need. But other than that, I'm not trying to add him. Maybe tight end premium.
I'm only looking at him as like a high volume passing option. Like I need to fill in because of bye weeks or whatever. But I'm with you. So,
nice.
0 fab from you. 0 fab from you. Let's talk about Dawson Knox.
Dawson Knox. What is he? The number 5 or 6 tight end right now?
You have to check. You have to let me know. But let me tell everyone else listening though that Dawson Knox is a part of the AJ Brown, DK Metcalf crew from Ole Miss. He's like the forgotten member.
Elijah Moore. They were all there at the same time.
Yeah, and then he carried over to the Elijah Moore Van Jefferson crew.
That's baffling.
So he is a part of that elite core. He's like the forgotten member.
Isn't that crazy? Dawson Knox, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, and Elijah Moore all on the same team.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on a second. I'm pulling this up.
And then I think about the LSU trio, which is Terrence Marshall, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson, which is elite. And then the tight end for that group is Thaddeus Moss. He's not even in the league.
So Dawson Knox has 4 targets in game 1, 3 and 2, 5 in game 3, 8 against Houston. 8 targets, 5 catches. So he's put up 8 points is his worst week, and 20.7 is his best. And I think it's full PPR. But that's pretty dang good. We're talking about the number 5 tight end. I actually have a few requests in for him. That's a guy that I am trying to acquire. I don't know if he's available.
What's the percentage? What's the percentage? He's not available in our league.
Shit, I don't know, 20%.
Okay.
Man,
yeah,
but here's the thing.
It's hard to find.
Yeah, an elite tight end is such a valuable asset in fantasy football.
I don't know offense.
Yeah,
like you feel good. It's not a fluke,
And I'm not saying that I am confident he's going to be a top 5 tight end, but 20% is worth that gamble to me.
Okay, I'll move on to the next name. We got Jerry Nichols, who I put down. He's getting production. He's getting opportunities here for Tennessee. And let's say that. Okay.
Tariq asked about Dynasty. 100% I'm trying to get him in Dynasty. Dawson Knox. He is a young cat.
Can you put a draft capital to that price?
That stresses me out.
I wouldn't pay a second.
I don't think I would either. Yeah. That's
if
tough.
You're a contender, I could probably pay a second. Like if I'm like top 3.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Draft, yeah, that's what he said. If it's a late second, yeah, probably. An early second, I don't think I can do that. It's just we're talking about 4 games here, and I'm just not confident with that.
I don't pay for tight ends. It's a policy.
Unless it's a top guy.
Yeah.
Proven stuff. That's pretty much how I feel. So yeah, definitely a third. I'm confident with a third on Knox. I don't feel bad about that at all.
You try to get him in a throw in like a bigger trade, maybe. Like that would be a good way to get it. All right, that's Nichols. I mentioned him as like a handcuff at Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry again is always invincible, constantly respected, at me. But Jeremy Nichols is in the passing game. I think he had like a handful of carries this year so far, so you've seen that. And I'm confident that if Derrick Henry went down, that McNichols is next man up, and I think he could pass. He can catch the ball better than Derrick Henry, that's for sure. So, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
In redraft, if I own Derrick Henry, maybe.
I'd probably let it go.
Other than that, no. I mean, so here's the thing. I'm a Titans fan. I watched the game. It was game script. We were behind. It was a lot of third downs that he was just running sweeps out of the backfield. That's probably not a wheel route. Sorry, there we go. He's running wheel routes out of the backfield, and I think that was probably 4 of the 6 catches. Let's also keep in mind Julio was out, AJB was out. Like our wide receiver corps after those 2 is atrocious. We're talking about Nick Westbrook, Ikeen, Chester Rogers, Josh Reynolds, and who am I missing? There's another one, little guy. Point is, they're not very good. And so I think that's why Jeremy McNichols was involved. If you look at the other games when we had those receivers, he wasn't very involved. It's just not a guy I'm interested in owning. I think it was a fluky game based on game script and based on an opportunity. That's not going to be there whenever AJB and Julio are back.
Okay. All right. I'm done for Dynasty buys. I'm done for waiver wire ads. You good?
Sure. Yep.
All right. We're going to move it along here, so I'm going to try to push this a little faster here. I'm looking at buy low candidates now, Dynasty and redraft. I need a response for both. First candidate up is George Kittle. Are you trying to buy low on George Kittle for redraft and for Dynasty?
No. I'm holding and I'm selling high after a big game.
All right. What's your concerns? What's bringing you back?
The passing game, and then you have 3 mouths to feed between him, Ayuk, and Debo, and it's scary. Plus, that's a team that wants to run the ball, So whether it's Sermon, Mitchell, whoever it may be, that they want to run the ball. I mean, they did 20 times last week, and that was playing behind. So yeah, Kittle's. I'm waiting until a big game, and I'm selling them. I'm trying to sell high.
I agree with everything you just said there. My only question is, do you think he's a top 10 tight end option for the year?
Yeah, I think it's hard to put him outside of that.
Okay.
But I mean,
All
the
right.
real threshold for me is that top 4 to 5 are, and he was in there, but that's elite. And then after that, we don't really care about 6 to 15. They're all guys that are kind of producing, the same amount of points.
Okay. All right. Let's move on now. The next one is A-Rob, who's in our drop candidate profile. I mean, you both said we wouldn't drop him. Are you buying low on Allen Robinson for redraft and Dynasty?
Redraft, depending on the price. Dynasty, no, he's old. I'm good there. If I can get him for the right price in redraft, yes, just because I want to see what he can do with Justin Fields.
Okay. I don't think he's that old, but he is on a franchise tag, so he's free next year. Does that intrigue you anymore at all?
Yes, that's a good point. I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. He's also 28, by the way. He's 28.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was. That's pretty old for a receiver. He's still got a few good years, but it's going to depend on where he lands. You could have the Kenny Golladay situation, or you can have a situation where he lands in a high-powered offense. It doesn't. I don't know. So that's tough. Maybe it just depends on the price. Really, I would buy low if the price is right.
Okay.
In both redraft and Dynasty.
Tariq, do you think you could get a first for A-Rob? Yeah, I think you could. Easy.
I would hope. I wouldn't sell for less, but I would sell for a first for sure.
Absolutely. Maybe we should put that in there too. What's our price point for these players?
Yeah, draft capital is a good one.
Okay. Next one's Dalvin Cook. I believe he's like RB 20 something on the league.
Dude, I saw a stat. Go ahead.
Just same thing. Are you buying low for redraft and for Dynasty?
I don't think I am. He's 25 or 26?
I believe he's 25. I'll confirm that though.
Pretty sure he's 25. He has broken one tackle on 51 attempts, and that's not good. So I don't know if he's injured or what's happening, but he looks like he's lost a step. And I hope it's just a small sample size. Maybe he's just in a rough streak. But I just don't. I've not been impressed. I don't think it's not. I don't know if it's an opportunity thing or what, but I just have not been impressed when he's ran the ball. I'm probably not buying low, and I'm probably not getting him in redraft or Dynasty.
If I could sell him, I'd sell him for someone like Jonathan Taylor. I would sell him for. I try to flip him for a young guy and then like a plus. I'm just gonna test the market out. If I can get like Gibson plus a second.
I think it's a good idea.
You can still sell that name. That name has not fallen off. He had a really good year, one really good game this year, and I do believe it's injury related. I think he was hurt the first game. Going into the first game, he was limited. Healthy the second game, got hurt at the very end of the second game, and was out third game. And this is last week was just him testing the water. So I think he bounces back. So I'm not selling. I would definitely try to buy this low.
Tariq's out for blood. He said that Jake, you told me he's a stud. I should get at least 2 firsts for him, right? Well, at the beginning of the season, I would have said that with absolute confidence.
I still think that.
I think you just need to wait. No, I'm not. I don't think I'm overreacting. I would be holding here. It's not a guy that I'm selling or trying to buy.
He played Cincy hurt, 20 for 61. He played Arizona healthy, 22 for 131. Missed Seattle, whatever, and then played Cleveland on limited snaps for 9 for 34.
What was the last one?
Cleveland, 9 for 34.
Yeah, that's the most recent. Maybe that's just skew in my opinion. But
okay,
I'm just holding there. If I own him, I'm holding. I'm waiting. 4 games, a small sample size, guys.
Right. Okay. So let's move on to Javonte Williams. Splitting the backfield right now. I believe he's actually losing a little bit of touches. Melvin Gordon. Are you buying right now in redraft and in Dynasty?
Dynasty, 100% without a doubt. I actually traded Keenan Allen for him 2 weeks ago. And I did that because I needed a running back, felt pretty good about my wide receivers. And I don't think I'm going to be able to pay that next year. So I went ahead and tried to get ahead of the curve on that one. I think Javonte's a stud. But for redraft, I'm not as confident. Melvin Gordon's still there. Melvin Gordon is a very good running back. He has been for a long time. He's not a guy that a rookie's going to come in and just take his job. And Javonte's look good. Like, there was a run last week where was trucking people, dragging people. It looked really good. But again, the opportunity is not quite there. So depending on the price, again, if I can get him in redraft, I probably would for that playoff run. I think, he's going to pick up some more in the latter half of the season. But Dynasty, 100%. Definitely buying in Dynasty.
I too am trying to buy. Sorry. Let me just say this. Melvin Gordon's losing snaps last 3 games. It's been 59, 54, and 49%. So not a lot there. But yeah, I'm with you. If I can trade a bench piece, maybe even a flex piece, like something that's not actively one of my locked in starters, I'm looking to add Javonte because I think he will take over. Maybe Melvin Gordon is 28. He's a little more injury prone. And so once Javonte grabs hold of this backfield, I'm all in on it.
So would you in Dynasty 22 first?
Yeah, if I could get away with that, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd probably do a first and a third.
What about you have a top 3 Dynasty pick for 22?
I don't know. That's so hard.
That's tough, yeah. I think anything after 4th, I'm 100% all in on first round pick, 4th overall. Sorry, and we're talking standard. This is not super flex. Super flex would change things a bit, but yeah, that's probably what I'd be willing to pay.
Let's go on to the next one here. Okay, so I put in this one, Najee Harris. I only put this one in here as a buy low. It's not really a buy low. He is the most guaranteed touches next to Derrick Henry in the league. You can lock him in your lineup and he's guaranteed his workload for the week.
Behind a atrocious offensive line and a terrible quarterback, he's been a shining bright light. And
PPR.
Imagine, exactly. Just imagine what's going to happen whenever somebody else is in there. That offensive line improves. A quarterback actually open up the offense and throw it downfield. I love Najee, and I agree. I still think he's a buy low even where he's at now because that offense can't get any worse, right? Can it get worse?
It probably can. Yeah, it can. It definitely can.
Do you expect it to get worse with any changes?
No. I think Big Ben is toast, and he's going to look to dump it off after 0.5 seconds, right away. And I think Najee's going to soak up the PPR content quality there. So
sure.
All right, let's move on. He's Chris Carson. He's having a rough week here. Are you trying to buy low on Chris Carson?
I've never been a Chris Carson fan, and I don't know if that's some weird stigma I have, but it's just I feel like that's a backfield that's always doing our running back by committee. It feels like he's always injured, and I know that's not right. I saw a crazy stat that was Chris Carson's relatively healthy normally. So I don't know what it is about him, but I don't like Chris Carson. I've actually got some waiver wire or some fab in for Alex Collins.
Okay. Yeah, I saw today as a report that Chris Carson did not participate in practice today.
Yeah.
So, all right, next buy low for me is Robert Woods.
Dude, that's a tough one. Are we still on waiver wire ads?
Yeah. No, we're on buy lows.
Yeah, let's change that thing over there.
I'm so bad at it.
Oh, we're a little behind. That's okay. We're not worried about it. Dude, that's a tough one because a week ago I told everybody go buy Robert Woods. His snap count was incredible, and I think he did have a decent week
because of a touchdown. But yeah. So his touchdown saved him, but I still would probably buy low. All right, let me ask you this because this has been a question or a trade that's been floating around between me and my buddy. Rondell Moore or Robert Woods in redraft? I'd have to go with Robert Woods.
Yeah, same. And I'm trying to finesse that still. There's too many mouths to feed there. But sorry, go ahead.
No, and both players are too many mouths to feed, but at least Robert Woods has been a part of the system for a bunch of years.
Exactly.
You just know his time's going to come. Clearly, Kupp's number one for sure, but the production should follow Robert Woods eventually.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. Antonio Brown dropped a touchdown pass against the Patriots. Had a monstrous week 1, but I don't think he's done much since then. Little injury concern.
It's funny, man, because there's 3 elite wide receivers there, and I feel pretty confident in saying that. You got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Antonio Brown. And Gronk, if you want to throw him in the mix. So Brady's going to go nuts pretty frequently. But guess what? I honestly, outside of Gronk, I don't want any of those players. Just because the price you're going to pay for them is more than the consistency they're going to produce. So maybe in best ball, but I don't play a lot of best ball, so that's not – I don't want any of those receivers. I really don't. I'm not buying low on AB. I'm not buying low on Mike Evans or Chris Godwin.
Yeah, if I'm an AB owner in Dynasty, I'm looking to sell. If he's not like actively in my lineup, I'm looking to sell. I mean, even as like,
would you take a second for him?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, I would as well.
Third, no. Yeah, it'd have to be like a second, and I would shoot for a mid to high second. A low second would be a tough one for me. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the sell highs here. My first name here is Cordell Patterson, RB2 on the year. I'm looking to sell. I don't think he keeps this up. Wayne Gallman got some usage last week with 6 touches. I think Patterson was only on the field for like 40% or 30% of snaps. I'm going to pull that up right now.
Yeah, but it was something low.
I am absolutely looking. If someone believes in Cordell Patterson, I am trying to sell him like a second fine in Dynasty for a redraft. If I can get some sort of starter or one of these buy lows, I'm talking about like, Dalvin Cook. I don't know. Like if I could sell him, if I can get him, I'll grab him. I saw someone in one of my leagues sell Allen Robinson for Christian Kirk.
Oh my gosh! So that's disgusting.
Yeah, if someone believes in Cordell Patterson keeping up this usage, I will be trading him away.
100%.
It's probably a committee. Yeah, you go ahead.
No, that's just probably the biggest sell high there is. Like, if you can get some elite value out of that, imagine if you. And this is probably a real opportunity. In redraft or dynasty, so we'll say redraft. In redraft, would you flip Cordell Patterson for AJB?
Yeah, if I could.
Without a doubt.
I didn't even bring it up. Yeah, absolutely. Calvin Ridley, too.
Yeah, those are all great buy-lows. We should have talked about them. But
I would trade him for Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, I probably would, too. I'm not a Chase Edmonds fan. I just think Cordell Patterson's stats are so skewed right now.
Yeah, I mean, Chase Edmonds is back in RB2. He has solid work quality. I mean, he lives there. He lives in the RB20 area. That's where he resides. All right, let's move on to Kenneth Gainwell. Are you trying to sell high on Kenneth Gainwell?
2 weeks ago, I said, hey, guys, Kenneth Gainwell's on the block. And I'm not kidding. Somebody said, the Snoop Dogg meme, who? I'm like, if you don't know Kenneth Gainwell, brother, I can't help you. And at the time, it was ironic because he had outscored James Robinson, but and the guy's a Jags fan.
Yeah. So let me just go about usage here. So targets, he's got 3, 3, 4, and then 8 this past week. And then for rushing, it's kind of all over the place. 9, 6, 1, and 3. So he's looking at, let's call it an average of 5 rushing attempts a game, and he's looking at an average of 4 or 5 targets. So he's looking at 10 opportunities, give or take.
I'm not a big fan of selling high on rookies. Kenneth Gainwell I think he was my 5th ranked, maybe 6th. 5th or 6th ranked running back.
So Miles Sanders is there.
Yeah, and I like Miles Sanders too. But it's got to concern you that he's stealing touches and opportunities from Miles Sanders, a guy that a lot of people think is a stud, right?
Right. Yeah, which me and you both are off of. But I'm looking to sell here. I mean, he's a 5th-round rookie. I don't see him ever being a workhorse. I don't really see him finishing as an RB24, RB2. So if someone believes in him and they want to slide me a second, I'm selling him. Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm
right there.
Hold on to him. Okay.
No, not in Dynasty. Yeah, Dynasty I'd sell for a second. Redraft.
What about a back end second?
Probably not. I want at least a mid or early because you're kind of hoping that your back end second round pick does what Kenneth Gainwell's doing.
I'd take Elliott back end second.
Yeah.
I would.
So that'd be Amon-Ra right now.
Yeah, but this class is deeper. It's not as top heavy, but this class coming up is deeper.
Gotcha. That's fair.
Okay, so drop my phone. The next one up is Mike Williams. Finally had a dud week. So
incredible.
Are we back to seeing the old Mike Williams, or are we staying true?
This is the guy that I truly believe is having a 5th-year breakout. And I don't think that's the norm. I don't think that's a typical thing. I think that he's good to go, and I think he's going to sustain this value. I mean, not quite where he's at, but he's not going to be far off. And the reason I believe that I did a quote or a tweet the other day, and I was talking about new offensive coordinator was a coach for the Saints when Michael Thomas was there, right? During Michael Thomas's best year. I can't think of the guy's name, so forgive me. Offensive coordinator for the Chargers now. But anyways, if you look at Mike Williams' average depth of target, the previous 4 years compared to his fifth year, it's almost cut in half. So they're doing completely different things with Mike Williams, and it seems like they've unlocked him. This isn't a guy that they're throwing the deep ball to every, 3 or 4 times a game. They're giving more slants and just different routes that aren't as deep, and he's succeeding there. I think he's going to continue to do so. That's a guy that I'm not selling high. I'm holding Mike Williams for sure in Dynasty and redraft.
Okay, I'm looking to sell. I'm looking to capitalize while I can. Not that I don't believe in him. I know, like I said, I don't believe in keeping this wide 0-1 value. So if I could flip him for like a first, I'm doing it. I'm holding it for a second. Quality is too good right now. He's probably helping you lead your tier championship right now. But
you would sell for a second?
No, I would not. I sell him for a first.
Yeah, okay. That a first is fair. That's kind of where the value I see.
Right, and then I would for redraft. Yeah, if I'm a contender, I'm trying to buy for a second. I'm not giving up a first. But because I don't know where it's going next year, I don't really know if he's going to keep this up. He's done these like 3-game like stunts before. He did one last year where he was like went off for 3 or 4 games and then he disappeared again. But
the average depth of target is much different. He's in a much different offense, and the offensive coordinator said he was going to do this. This isn't so that says a lot to me. When it wasn't just coach speak, they said they were going to do it, followed through. Now we see the results.
Okay, so. And then redraft. I'm looking. All right.
All right.
I mean, as an indicator, I like that, but I don't understand why it disappeared this last game. I don't know.
Sure, no, that's fair.
And redraft, I'm probably looking to sell for a pretty high quality receiver, like a Terry. I'm looking to trade him for one of the other top 12s.
Yeah, I would probably do that as well. A guy with a track record who's in the same boat. But if we're talking about selling high. I mean, I don't know. It just depends on who you're getting for him.
Right,
a proven stud, I'll take that.
I'm going to pull up some names for a sec. You got to bear with me here.
No, you're good. We can hang out. We got Tariq said a first and second.
Stephon Diggs, redraft.
Nope. Hanging on to him.
Okay.
High-powered offense, history. I love Stephon Diggs.
Tyler Lockett, who's slowing down a little bit.
He is consistently inconsistent, but also consistently a top player. So even though he has games that are duds, his big games make him worth it, in my opinion. He's an absolute cannon in best ball. But no, I'm not trying to sell him.
Okay, so by the way, for everyone listening, we're just doing this for redraft now. Amari Cooper.
Buying.
Okay.
Buy, sell, hold. Is that how we're approaching this?
No. If you're gonna trade like Mike Williams for him.
Oh, sorry. No, yeah, I'll take Amari.
Okay, Mike Williams or Calvin Ridley?
Calvin Ridley.
You would have been in an insane asylum if you said that a month ago. Or Calvin Ridley? Sorry, my bad. The other way around. I'm messing up.
Right,
I'm good. I'm good to move on.
Yeah, let's move on. We only got a couple minutes anyways. Let's finish this up.
Okay. Let's how about we go to these names here, just talk briefly about these names we got on this list here. Just about our reaction for the week. All right, Jonathan Taylor finally saw his breakout.
Jonathan Taylor, baby.
Yeah, no, it's actually his middle name. He actually is JTT.
Is it? What's his middle name?
I can't remember, dude. I got to look it up, but it's JTT.
All right, I'll look it up later. We'll assume it's right. Yeah, initial reaction is fantastic. Glad he had a great game.
Yeah, finally.
But also the Colts are garbage, and if it takes them to be in the lead for JT to have a good game, that's concerning to me. Because that was game script, and I actually just traded for Jonathan Taylor, so I hope it's not just a one-off. But
okay, so redraft top 12 still?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, dynasties, he's still top 6.
Oh, he's even higher in dynasty because he's gonna get Quentin Nelson back. Okay. They're gonna improve.
All right, so you're not overly worried.
No, just more concerned for this year.
Okay, I do think there's greener grass.
Greener
pastures at whatever. Yep. All right, next we're on to Trey Sermon.
Man, you would. 18 touches looked a lot better. I thought this is interesting. Everyone wanted to condemn Trey Sermon after his very mediocre first game, but he's actually got 6 less touches than Elijah Mitchell, but he's averaging more yards per carry. So, and if you take out the big chunk play, I don't like to do that, but if you were, then that yards per carry for Trey Sermon's much higher. Trey Sermon's longest run's 11 yards, and Elijah Mitchell's like 37. But that's not a bad thing in my opinion. It's just something to bring it up.
Who did Trey Sermon go off against? Or Elijah Mitchell? So Trey played Seattle.
Yeah,
and Elijah played.
I'd be guessing.
Okay, I got you. Detroit. Okay, they're both weak defenses. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm still on the fence. I'm waiting to see Jeff Wilson enter the fold here pretty soon.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how the whole thing's just interesting. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not overly as confident as I was, but I definitely feel better after this last week.
I wouldn't feel confident starting either one, but I had to start one. Who would you start this next week? Because they're both back.
Trey Sermon, I just gut, I guess. But that's not confident. I will very openly and honestly state that.
All right, next one's up here is Zach Wilson, Corey Davis. So we finally saw Zach Wilson have a good game. Corey Davis is currently his go-to end zone target. As an owner of like Dynasty, Zach Wilson, how are you feeling?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know much, dude. I just feel about all the quarterbacks. Really, I mean,
right.
I like Mac Jones, but that average depth of target's stupid low. Trevor Lawrence has a insane head coach. Trey Lance still looks very untidy. I don't know. I don't want to get into the weeds, but also if we're going to talk about Zach Wilson, let's talk about Corey Davis, because Corey Davis had a nice revenge game against my Titans. Looked good. And again, he does look like the clear target there. I like Corey Davis, not as high on Zach Wilson.
Yeah, we'll see about Elijah Moore, though, at the second half of the year. We have a question here I'm going to put up on the screen from Tyree. Can you guys help me with Jamar? Some people are saying he could push himself into being a top 5 Dynasty wide receiver. You think I could flip him for Diggs, DK, or JJ, maybe Terry plus? I'll answer this because I actually tried to shop DK. I shouldn't say I shopped. One of our league mates came to me asking for DK Metcalf, and I countered with I want a trade that involves Jabbar Chase, and I asked for plus. And I misheard him, by the way. He wasn't offering me Kittle plus Chase. But
I still wouldn't do that.
I redid my Dynasty rankings this morning, actually. Yeah. I came out with DK as wide receiver 5, and I came out with Jabbar Chase as wide receiver 8.
I think that's totally reasonable.
So that they're in the same tier for me. So if you could flip him for Chase, I feel pretty good about him. He stuck to Joe Burrow for 4 years. If you can get, you have Chase trying to get rid of Chase.
Sorry, I'm
I
excited.
think you could. You could definitely get him for DK. I wouldn't do it for Diggs. But yeah, I will look at Justin Jefferson and Terry McLaurin's quarterback situation is up in the air for the future. So I would much rather Jamar than Terry. That's for sure.
For me, that is, and I like Jamar. Jamar was my wide receiver 1 for this class, but T. Higgins he's gonna push him for targets every week. Again, we like Joe Burrow and they have that rapport, but he also has that rapport with T. Higgins now. So Tyler Boyd's no scrub either. So with that said, I'm taking Diggs, DK, and JJ all over Jamar. Diggs is probably the lowest ranked on there for me in Dynasty. Definitely DK and JJ. Those are top 3 for me. And that's probably not a bad idea. Jamar Chase has looked good with T there, but
those touchdowns too. Like, I mean, you can't really bank on those touchdowns every week. But I would feel good about Jamar's whole future because he's locked in with his quarterback. They have rapport. We answered the question when they're all on the field. It's clearly Tyler Boyd that's the one suffering.
Yeah.
So, So if I own Jamar, I'm feeling confident for like the next 10 years. And 2, if you want to flip them for a DK or JJ, I think that's fine. Like that's they're all in the same tier to me.
So I'll add to that real quick just because also probably not Terry. I think Jamar is actually probably right there with Terry McLaurin. I value those 2 about the same. But Jamar Chase has 4 touchdowns through 4 games, and I don't think that's sustainable when you bring T. Higgins back into the picture. And I know he's been there aside from 1 game or 2 games, but I don't think that's sustainable. So that's part of the reason I think you're good to trade him for any of those guys outside of Terry.
Yeah. So if you're looking to compete, maybe trade him for the veterans. If you're not a competitor, that's up to you. But I'm with you too. And JJ and Jamar Chase are the only two people I can remember that are being constantly compared to Randy Moss lately. Like I just don't feel like I've heard. I hear a lot of Tyree comparisons for speed every year, but I don't really feel like I hear a lot of comparisons for Randy Moss every year.
No.
All right, let's move on to Schultz, tight end 1. I think he's a locked in tight end 1. He's
how excited that makes me feel. we went back and forth, you and I, on Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz all last year, but I was with you. It was one of those situations where I agreed that Blake Jarwin had the talent. He was just older, but at the same time, we saw Dalton Schultz had that rapport while they were playing together and had a very good fantasy year, even without Dak. But
right.
Dalton Schultz, I feel confident with him. I'm actually starting him in a couple leagues, and I feel good about him.
Yeah, him and Jarwin started pretty even, but these last 2 weeks it's been absolutely the Schultz show. All right, let's move on to Sam Darnold and the Carolina pass catchers. Sam Darnold's I think QB6 right now, or 4, depending on your format. I think he stays there. I think he stays in the QB1 territory, but he looks good. He looks good. He has a great wide receiver core to throw to. I mean, even with CMC out, he's got it done. And he has a super easy schedule, the whole year. So I think he's locked in, and we already talked about Robbie Anderson, so we really got to talk about the pass catchers too much.
Would you drop Terrace Marshall and redraft?
Yep, absolutely. Break. I think I already did it, actually.
What do you want for? What would you? It sounds like I'm going to try and trade you for him. What would you trade him for in Dynasty? Say you had him on your Dynasty team. Would you take a mid-second for him?
I would need a first. I would need a first for him. It could be a really back end first, but I wouldn't trade him for a second.
I'm still right there with you, holding on him.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. If someone does even a back end first, you don't want to do that. I think that's fine. But if it feels like a mid to early first, absolutely.
Without a doubt. That's not even without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay. Zeke, 2 back-to-back games after I condoned him.
Everybody
is he back? Yeah. Is he back to top 5?
Me? No, I don't think so. I still just so inconsistent in my opinion with he's not been that inconsistent, but I mean, as far as Pollard working into that backfield, you don't know who's going to be the guy. And Pollard's earned and will continue to get some of those touches. So I'm good on Zeke.
I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of Zeke long term. I'm not a fan of split fields, and he did play against 2 solid defenses in Philadelphia and Carolina. But yeah, I guess we'll see. But he's still outside my top 10. He's probably still an RB2, but high end.
Yep, agreed.
All right, Kareem Hunt. He's currently RB5 and half PPR. OBJ looked good in his one game back last week. This week he looked pretty not great. I shouldn't say him. Here's my thoughts. Kareem Hunt, I don't think he's saying that. Just going to have some games. It's very touchdown dependent. But I think he's going to kind of do what he did last year and end up in the RB2 category. I'm going to feel good starting him every week. But in a pinch, he's going to come through for you. OBJ looked great his first game back. I would feel good about it. Now, what I don't feel good about is Baker Mayfield throwing to him. So, rest of the season, is OBJ like a wide receiver 3 to you?
Yeah, probably about that. It's just not. I'm just not a huge fan. Okay. I was 4 years ago, but here we are in 2021. I'm good on OBJ. Kareem Hunt, he's looked good, but it's just I don't know. Chubb's there. Kareem Hunt's just not a guy I have many shares of. He's been good, but I'm just not a guy that gets me excited and just not somebody I'm trying to trade for.
Yeah, same. OBJ for me is outside wide receiver 3 category because of Baker Mayfield. If Baker Mayfield was throwing accurately, he would be in that wide receiver 3 category, but not wide receiver 2 upside. Moving on to Tyler Lockett, we actually already talked about. Let's move on to Trey Lance. Might be the starter. Are we excited about that in any way?
Yeah, you probably already know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it anyways. I'm excited because Trey Sermon's best years were with Justin Fields. Best year in college was with Justin Fields, who ran a spread offense, similar to what I expect the 49ers to use with Trey Lance under center. So I think it's going to benefit Trey Sermon, who already had a decent week with Jimmy G. You get him in an offense he's more comfortable in. I think it sets him up for a better year. And I also think that was probably part of the process in which brought him to the 49ers. They drafted Trey Lance and said, okay, well, now we've got Trey Sermon who ran the same type of offense with the same style quarterback. Makes a lot of sense. So I don't know if that's me reaching, but it makes sense. We have not the data, but we have a sample size that suggests that could be the case. So I'm curious to see how that one plays out.
Yeah, I am too. I'm curious to see how this plays out. I'm not expecting a lot. If you take away that random open Debo play, the only thing you're really excited about for him was that 7 rushes for 41. But we'll see.
I guess I didn't say anything about Trey Lance. He looks super mediocre. So I don't know. It's just a guy that I'm waiting and seeing on for sure.
All right, two more. CeeDee Lamb, he slowed down. I don't know about you, but I had him as a preseason back-end wide receiver 1. I think currently he's a back-end 2. Only 4 weeks, but are you concerned with him kind of disappearing these last 2 weeks?
No, it's what I expected, man. It's going to be between Amari and CD every week. Both are going to have fantastic weeks, and while one's showing out, the other's probably going to take a back seat. But both
Amari hasn't showed out the last 2 weeks either. It's been your boy Schultz.
Well, that's also true. Amari had a good week though. I think he finished with like 16.
Yeah, he had a touchdown, so it was like 3 for 16 a touchdown.
Okay,
so.
Yeah, I'm still, and also Amari was injured, I think, so that probably played into that. But yeah, I'm taking Amari still. I have them ranked very similarly for redraft.
Okay, I am a little disappointed in CeeDee Lamb here. I don't think he gets back to wide receiver 1. I think he's probably a 2, and I think it's just because Dak spreads it around. Just kind of ride the hot hand. So he's going to have some good weeks, but he's going to have some of these other weeks, these like duds he's been having like later on in the year too. So. You good to move on to the last one?
Yep.
All right. We'll save the best for last. It's going to be James Robinson, baby, RB8.
Love it.
He's back. Let's talk about Jacksonville as a whole, though. So let's include Urban Meyer's drama. Let's also include Laviska Shenault, too, in there. So James Robinson finally getting the usage that he absolutely deserves. And he's continuing what he's doing last year, just being an absolute efficient monster, just proving the disrespect wrong. Again, first team all disrespect by the analysts, so he's right next to Derrick Henry there. But I think this usage is going to continue. I believe that James Robinson is going to be a back end RB1, high end RB2 the rest of the year.
So Dynasty, Travis Etienne comes back year 2. What are you doing?
I'm starting James Robinson with confidence.
With Etienne back?
Yeah, he's hurt. He's missing his whole rookie year. It's not even like a minor injury.
Not year 1, year 2.
He's gonna miss OTAs again. Yeah, he's gonna come back during the preseason.
Is he really?
Before preseason? Yeah, he's gonna miss OTAs probably. I think the injury is like on point to be right after OTAs, so maybe they rush him back. But I expect OTAs.
It's pretty much full off season though.
So I think. There's like data on like rookies missing their whole rookie year, and it's like not good. But yeah, I think James Robinson solidifies his role. You think Urban Meyer's out here or what? Do you think a new coaching staff comes in?
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm telling you, that man is not fit to be an NFL head coach. We knew it from the get-go. We talked about it. That was one of the biggest red flags I saw with Trevor Lawrence. We've got I think people overlook the reality of the situation. This isn't a first-time NFL head coach. This is a first-time NFL coach, period. The guy has no experience coaching NFL at any level. So, I mean, he made the joke. I can't remember who it was against, but they beat the hell out of him. And after the game, he said, "Oh, NFL every week you're playing Alabama." It's like, yeah, man, these are the best of the best. Like, yeah. It's baffling you didn't have that mindset that you're gonna have to game plan and come up with elite game plans to win. I don't know. I'm not a fan. He brought in Tim Tebow, who's 34 years old, to play tight end, not even a position he's ever played. The man's been making bad decision after bad decision. Now he's getting danced on by some young woman at a club or something, and he's married.
Yeah,
It's not a good look.
There's a video too where he's grabbing her butt. I think someone
I
else came
saw
out with the
that.
video. Yeah,
So,
so it's not a good look. If you leave, I know the next coaching staff's going to fall in love with James Robinson. We saw DJ Chark go down to injury, and I believe this gave rise to Vicious Chenault's breakout, which I think is coming now. I absolutely would be locking in like Chenault as a weekly starter and feel good about it.
sorry, I was laughing at Tariq's comment down here. He said, Jake, if I was a coach, I'd bring you in as a tight end, bro. I am 5'8", and that is a terrible coaching decision. I'm best as a slot receiver, tops.
That's funny, dude. Because my unit, like one of my boys plays football, and he's all, "You're a waste of height. You should be a tight end in the NFL. What are you, 230, 6'2"? You could be a tight end." I'm like, nah, I need 20 more pounds and 3 more inches.
6'5", 250 if you want to be a good tight end. That's funny. But Laviska did finally have a good week. I think that's pretty much all I've got. Go ahead.
That's it. And speaking of tight ends, let me just roll right into Friday's episode preview. I'm going to be talking about the upcoming tight end class in 2022. Looking at, of course, I always bring up Jake's numbers and just what we look for in tight ends. It's kind of hard to really actually guess your tight end. There's one that really excites me this year, and then there's like 5 or 6 maybes. They'll get overhyped, and someone's going to spend a second on them. But, as my policy is, I'm not spending up on tight ends ever unless they're guaranteed studs. Like Kyle Pitts, Hawk, Fant when he came out. Those 3 guys was pretty big on. But anyway, I'm not spending high on tight ends. And that wraps it up for me. You got any closing words?
No, sir. Make sure you guys tune in on Friday. Mike's going to talk some college football with you guys, and I will be back on Tuesday. And we'll recap the week as usual, talk about the buy lows, sell highs, waiver wire. We'll make sure we hit everything. Actually, let's make sure we get Tariq's question.
Come on, Tariq, hurry up, man. Come on.
He said, well,
you start this week.
Know.
Let's hear it.
But Damian Williams versus Las Vegas, Damian Harris versus Houston, or Trey versus Arizona. That's Damian Williams easy for me.
How do you see that? Because I don't see that.
It's in the comments. It's like halfway up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we missed it. Yeah, Damian Williams for me, and that's not close.
Okay, Williams or Damian Harris. Oh, yeah, both the Damians.
You got to pick one.
This says pick 2.
Oh, we're picking 2. Yeah, both the Damians.
Yeah, both the Damians. All right, see you guys. We're out.